Hi, sinners. Susie from the future here. This episode is freaking fantastic. Like, it's so freaking funny and cool, and we love Chelsea, and it was amazing. But we did have a little bit of delays while we were recording, so sometimes we speak on top of each other. I promise you, it's so worth it. You're gonna enjoy it. Also, I want to take this opportunity to tell thank you to Vicky from Spain, Barcelona. I'm pretty sure it is. Vicky, you're the best. Thank you for listening to us. Gracias, Vicky, por escucharnos. De verdad, apreciamos muchísimo tu apoyo. Y muchas gracias a María de México, que nos escribe siempre por Instagram. And I don't know why I'm speaking in Spanish. Thank you, Maria, for listening to us. You guys are the best. And sinners, thank you for the DMs, the emails, the stories they're coming really soon. You're gonna enjoy that episode. Oh my God. We really appreciate you. We love you, and thank you. Oh, and shout out to everyone that is freaking subscribing to our YouTube channel. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Just a quick disclaimer before we get this episode started. One of the authors we're talking about, Penelope Douglas, identifies as non-binary, and their pronouns are they, them. I was not aware of this, and I should have done my homework, and I promise I will do better next time. So we do use the term she instead of they or them. And once we're made aware of it, we absolutely stop and switch to using they, them. I appreciate your understanding. I extend a deep apology to Penelope if they ever do listen to this. And we are committed to just doing better every day. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. My name is Susie Núñez.
And I'm Reshea Riebenstorff, and we're here to dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
Hi, sinners. Welcome to episode 6 of Come With Us. I know, episode 6, right? Thank you. We are so excited. Like, you guys do not understand. We are stoked right now. This is your new favorite podcast. You know it. We know it. Just admit it already. I'm Susie Núñez, witch resident, I will say, fashion girly, and kink connoisseur. That's me. Who are you?
I'm Reshea Kelly. I'm your devourer of smut and recent lover of sapphic smut. I can't get enough. I'm obsessed.
She's finding herself.
I need 2 bumpin' vaginas, I guess.
I always find super interesting how difficult it is for us booktok girlies or not booktok. You don't have to be on booktok to be a person that reads, honestly. Like, that's a new thing, right? But like, for people to read specifically like fantasy or smut books or romance, it can be difficult for us to find good books, What are your thoughts on that? Because our guest today, she's like a pro at recommending books. But if it wasn't for her and people like her, we couldn't know about, this type of books.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like, for so long, I was looking for books that would get me out of my reading slump. And I remember there was one time when I was living in Oklahoma. So it was before, that had to be like 2010, right? When I was like, okay, I'm ready to read a book. And I went to the library and I was able to find The Magicians by Lev Grossman, which is great. I know librarians do a lot and things like that, but a lot of times you're not going to be able to find people who are into the stuff that we're into. And so it gets a lot harder. It gets a lot harder to find something that interests you. And you can always Google stuff, but there's paid sponsorships. There's people arguing about opinions on subreddits. So it's always hard to just find somebody that you trust. And that's why I think TikTok and booktok has been so great, because you can develop like a rapport almost with the TikTokers who you trust their opinions and things like that. And then you know that you're going to get a good recommendation from them. And if you're not on booktok and you're not on Bookstagram or BookBook, which I think we were going to call Facebook's book group, BookBook.
You're killing me with this name.
It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. Like, if you're not in those circles, it gets so much harder to find people, especially with the stuff you can't ask openly about, like smut and romance. Yeah. Okay, y'all. So if you've been on booktok at all in the last year, you've definitely seen those videos where someone's like looking for a specific kind of book to read and they come to like a help desk customer service thing, and it's always hilarious and it usually involves monster fucking.
Well, if you're a fan of those videos, and we know you are because hello, they're hilarious. Well, then our guest is gonna make you super happy because this is gonna make you happier than when the guys I'm fucking around take out the dildo and Rachel is like, "Fuck yes, the tentacle dildo is out," and we get excited. That's how excited you're going to be because at Chelsea Reisz, it's right here with us. You can find her with the same name at Chelsea Reisz on Instagram and TikTok. She's right here, Chelsea.
I don't know if she's to the left or the right or underneath.
She's
We're just
right
excited
here
to have you.
and please say welcome to Chelsea.
It's honestly such a compliment. I don't think anybody has ever told me they were more excited to see me than they were to see a like monster style dildo get pulled out of a drawer. But that's like the nicest compliment I think I've ever received.
I'm telling you, it is. It is. Reshea worked this out, and I was like, "Fuck yes, you get it."
Yeah, 100%. Not only was it a tentacle dildo, it was 3 men holding a tentacle dildo. Chelsea,
it's not the first time that's happened.
We do just want to say that we're so excited to have you on with us. Dream come true, I think is what it is. And we're so honored because like we know that you've got a lot going on, not just in your personal life, but like business wise. We know that you've got like events and your social media and all this stuff. And you took time out of your day to talk to us. And we're like, little us. So thank you. Like it means a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this is actually my first time ever doing a podcast with anybody. So I'm super excited. I'm glad that you guys get to pop my podcast cherry. This is
too. Yay!
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk all things books and smut.
Heck yeah,
two of my favorite things.
I'm so glad.
Yeah,
that's all we talk about.
So you know. We are a fun podcast. We are a fun podcast. We're not a boring podcast. So we're not going to be like, Chelsea, tell us more about you. Because honestly, if we want to know more, we just ask you on a private call and that's it. And we did it already. But because we're going to make this fun, we're going to do a rapid fire question session. Like super fast.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
I love this.
Don't think too much. Okay, ready? What's your favorite color?
Let's go. Blue.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Mountain cabin or beach shanty?
Beach shanty.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Beach girly through and through.
Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Edward.
Okay.
My goodness.
My eardrums. Jesus Christ. Paperback, hardcover, e-reader, or audiobook?
Ooh. But e-reader, probably.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Favorite kink to read?
Degradation and Praise.
I have all my people. Oh my God, you guys. I'm sweating because I'm hot. Like literally hot. But I'm sweating because she just read my mind. Oh my God, yes. I'm so happy right now.
Favorite romance trope?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's a tough one. So, okay, and I only say it's tough because I have like different flavors of the week where if you asked me last week, it would be a different answer than it is this week.
Yeah.
This week, believe it or not, favorite romance trope is second chance romance.
Okay.
Interesting. Never thought about that from you, you know?
It's not usually everybody's first choice, but I've been on a really big second chance romance kick recently.
Okay.
I love it for you, babes. Hey, yeah. Own it. Own it. Oh, once romance trope you want to set on fire and never read again.
Oh, man. I probably... this is a tough one, too. Love triangle. Love triangle that doesn't turn into reverse harem.
I second that. I second that so hard. Heck yes.
I feel you. All right. If you were stranded on an island and you could only have 3 books with you, quick, what would they be? Quick.
The Invincible Life of Addie LaRue.
Okay.
Probably The Dare.
The Dare.
I forgot. I've never read a book before in my life. I can't think of a single book. Oh my God.
You're not winning the prize money if you don't give us an answer in 5 seconds. $5,000 on the line.
I guess A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Okay.
Nice.
So we've got...
Finally, the question we like to ask all of our guests. If your life was a book, what would the title of this chapter be right now in your life?
I feel like it's something to the effect of like, and it's very cliche, Rising from the Ashes.
Like a
Ooh.
phoenix. Love that for you,
Like a phoenix.
babes.
Yeah. Last year, I feel like I have very like on and off years. I'll have one year that's absolutely amazing, just like top tier. I'm at my highest, and then the year following is like plummet train wreck. Like, and the last 2 bad years I had were like really rough years. But this year is like I'm just riding the high. Every time I'm like, I don't think my life could get better. Like something else happens, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Like it's a very exciting year. So definitely a great time after some pretty chaotic bad.
Good.
I love
Good
that.
for
Thank
you.
you
You
for
deserve
that.
it. You know, you deserve that.
We see
you.
people like you on TikTok, and we think, wow, they get to read everything they want, or wow, their life is probably so fucking cool, they never have problems. And then you say this, and I'm like, fuck yes, you're human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like and that comes with a lot of people that do either like social media or like actors or anybody that's kind of in the light. You get a perceived idea of them. And like I like to make my content very like quirky and silly and funny, like, and sometimes I'll make them a little bit dark, but even still there's like a jokey undertone to it. And honestly, sometimes like the hardest stuff can be just making content to be in that headspace when I myself am not. And it's sometimes just difficult because it's like I feel like I'm putting on a charade. People think that I'm this like giggly and happy all the time and my life is perfect, and like while I'm having a great year, that does not by any means mean that my life is perfect or that everything always works out for me. So I feel like that's like kind of important too.
That was beautiful and perfect. Thank you so freaking much. Thank you for faking us sometimes and making us and giving us that content, because you know how difficult it is to find good books to read if you're not in that community. So you make that job very easy for us.
Absolutely.
Well, that makes me feel good too. I appreciate that.
All right. So tell us, how did you fall down this smut rabbit hole? And like, how quick was the descent?
So I feel like in order to dive into how the smut stuff started, I would have to start from square one with the very first spicy book I ever read.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's the same for a lot of people. It was 50 Shades of Grey.
Hey, high five. Me too.
If you had asked, and while it was an introductory book to like kinks and BDSM and like just spicy reads in general, looking back on it now, I don't think that's a great depiction of BDSM and spice and things like that. But
agreed.
I was probably, I want to say like a senior in high school when I read that. So I'm, hormones are crazy and I'm feeling things. So like, I was like, wow, I'm feeling things. This is intense. I kind of stopped reading for a little while, picked back up during quarantine with a like YA series. And I was like, I love their chemistry. And then someone had actually recommended ACOTAR to me. And I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. And you could not tell me anything. ACOTAR in my books was one of the spiciest things I'd ever read.
Yep.
And then it was like, that was so good. And they were like, it gets spicier, right? And I was like, no, does it? And then I continued reading.
I want to know them. I want them as my friends too.
Believe it or not, so I think it was honestly the TikTok community that gaslit me into reading spicier stuff. Because I would say like, I read ACOTAR and it's so spicy and I highly recommend it. And they would go, that's not even spicy. And I'm like, but it has a spicy scene in it. And they're like, that's not spicy. And I'm like, okay, let me find something a little bit spicier. And then I'm reading like straight erotica and people are still like, that's not spicy. I'm like, what do you want? And while I'm not mad about it because I've read some really weird and amazing stuff in the past like couple years. It was the gaslighting for me that got me down this rabbit hole.
Well, to be honest with you, we were talking to one of our guests the other day and we were telling her, like, to be honest, ACOTAR books, the sex is pretty much vanilla. If we're honest. They're great.
Yeah. It's very mild.
They're beautiful, amazing chemistry between, the couples and stuff. But honestly, that's vanilla sex.
Doesn't like there's no call me daddy. There's no degradation. There's no toys. There's no tying people up. There's no temperature. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, totally.
That's a good introductory.
I myself, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are the same way. I sometimes in my head get mixed up levels of spice versus like how good the tension is before they get to the spice.
Mm-hmm.
So and like I've caught myself before giving, I don't want to say bad recommendations, but almost like inaccurate recommendations. Where I'm like, this book was so hot. And again, it's very vanilla. Nothing really crazy happens. They're not even like very detailed scenes, but the tension leading up to it is so strong that when it finally happens, it's like a geyser. It's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
like, this has been building for so long.
That's how I feel
Yeah.
about this book that you're making me read right now. I'm just like, I think she like touched her and I was like, oh, finally. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So a question, when you started reading smut, did you go back to, oh, so I know you said that you read some YA stuff after you read 50 Shades of Grey, but like once you really got into your romance smut journey, spicy book journey, have you ever like really gone back? Have you tried reading a non-romance or non-spicy book since then?
I will say I often go back to YA or even like Fade to Blacks. I don't typically read non-romance, just because I don't really find like I'll read a nonfiction once a year, maybe. But for me, romance is like my primary genre that I read. I think one of the most important things to like give kudos to YA authors when it comes to writing romance is the fact that they can't include smut. So you need to fall for these characters and you need to want them together so badly, and not because what size are they packing downstairs or like what can they do with their tongue. It's I want the tension so thick that the second they like touch fingers, you're like, oh my God.
Please kiss
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So like I like to do palette cleansers because sometimes I feel like if I read smut after smut after smut, it's the same thing over and over again. And it loses its luster for me.
Yeah.
It makes me think
So I like to
it makes me think of, K-dramas, Korean dramas, where they don't touch. Basically, they don't touch, they don't kiss as
Really?
much, but when they do, you're like, oh my God, it's happening. You know the office, that meme? That meme comes out in every episode. Oh my God, it's happening. You feel that way every time.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
I love that.
American
But
soap
because
operas are not like that.
Oh no, no soap operas, and neither the shows here. They're very sexual, very explicit. But like in Korea or Turkey, dude, those like they know how to make slow burn. Like they actually freaking know. I watched a Turkish drama the other day, novela, drama, soap opera, I don't know how to call it. Oh my God, that man, he didn't do anything. He was just standing. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? I have no idea what you're doing, but you're doing something.
It's a weird way to propose, but the answer is yes.
I'm writing that down.
Proposing. He wasn't even proposing anything. I was just like, yes, whatever it is, yes. Please,
Yeah.
give it to me.
Absolutely.
I'm writing that quote down because I'm going to use it from now on. Absolutely.
It was just fantastic. Yeah. I love that you mentioned the palette cleansers, because I think they're so important. Which one would you say is like, if you have to pick one or two palette cleansers that have no smut, what would they be?
So honestly, the Grishaverse for me was a great palette cleanser.
The what?
Like not the Grishaverse. So like Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows, that series.
Okay.
Not so much the Shadow and Bone trilogy, but the other two series that follow it. It is unreal the amount of tension that Leigh Bardugo puts into the characters that she has. Like, I mean, to the point that it's like fingers brush. Like it's like Pride and Prejudice, where like they brush fingers and you are screaming and slamming your book on your like table.
Oh gosh.
Episode 0 of this podcast, it was all Mr. Darcy. Ask her. I love that man with my whole heart.
Yeah, she mentioned him a few times.
I love him.
Once or twice.
I'm also really bad with like trying to think of books off the top of my head. Like even when I do live, sometimes I'm just like, oh, you know what book you guys would really like? And then it's just like dial-up tone because I feel like I've never read a book before. So I have to like physically look at the books on my shelf sometimes. Another really good one, it's not necessarily YA, but it doesn't really have smut. There might be like a romance like subplot, but if there is a scene, it's very quick. It's very vanilla. And that's assuming it doesn't fade to black, is anything written by Jodi Picoult.
Oh,
I don't know her.
She's
amazing.
Tell me
She's
more.
one of my favorite authors of all time.
Tell me
So
more.
like I have her book here. So this is like the first book I ever read, and like read it because I liked it.
What's the name?
It's 19 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
I read it. It's yellow.
It's a
Eat the
thick
Crap.
boy. I love it.
It's a little bit thick. It's about a school shooting.
Mhm.
It goes back and forth between present time and past.
Mhm.
But like this is the book that got me reading, period. I actually got to meet the author back at a Polycon last year, and like I ascended. I saw God.
That's so beautiful.
I called my fiance and I was like, I think this must be the best day of my life. And he's like, I proposed to you in front of a waterfall. And I was like, I said what I said.
I proposed to you in front of a
Yes,
waterfall.
I love it.
I love that he's on board.
sorry.
I love that he's like just gonna like slip that in there and be like, but okay, and he doesn't question it. She's amazing.
Oh,
He knows.
that's
Right?
beautiful. Glenn did great. Hello, Glenn. Heck, good. Yeah, like good
In
for you,
front of
babe.
a
Love
waterfall.
that.
Right.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I got proposed to in front of a
Mhm.
library, so eat it. Sorry.
You know what? That's fair. You got me beat. We'll just take this bad boy off. Glenn's gonna have to take it back. She got married in front of a library. We're engaged, rather. Sorry.
That is so funny. But I love it. I'm gonna put her down for like one of my new authors to read because I don't know her.
I have.
I will say her stuff is very heavy in terms of topics, but phenomenally written. And like she's honestly a great person. So she's like out on the front lines, like fighting against the people that are trying to ban books.
Wow.
She like is a huge advocate for like marginalized communities and things like that. She's just like an all-around great person.
Yeah.
And the fact that she writes good books is just another.
love
Yeah,
it.
she wrote a whole letter that she had somebody who just like started communicating with her online read at a school district about 19 minutes and how it's a poignant book. It's necessary because it talks about a lot of things that are affecting high schoolers' lives right now. But there's one page in it that's depicting or talking about a girl getting date raped. Right? That's 19 minutes, right? Yeah. And she and she's like, because of that one page, that's going to get taken out of this high school. And this is stuff that these kids are dealing with on a daily basis. And she wrote this whole letter, just like shame on you to the whole school district. And I watched the video and I cried. I was like, I love Jodi Picoult. She's amazing. And she's like loud and she's up there and she's so like well spoken about it too. Oh, she's great.
I love that. Ooh,
Yeah.
Definitely writing it down.
I may or may not have I gushed when I met her and was like, I make content and videos. You could watch them or never see them. That's also totally fine. It's cool. And then I saw her in passing later in the weekend and she was trying to take photos with like a group of other authors. And I was like, please let me take the photo for you guys. And I was like, can everybody just say hi for myself? I'm going to just post this real quick. And I'm like panning through the authors and she's like, we love you, Chelsea. And I was like, I'm going to need a new pair of pants. I'm going to need a new pair of pants.
That is such a fangirly moment. I love that for you. You know those full circle moments? That was for you. That was it.
That's what I'm saying. This year has been insane.
I love that.
I'm just here for the ride at this
You
point.
deserve it, Chelsea. Heck yes.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a Polycon this year. And I'm also doing Books, Gowns, and Crowns, which is in Seattle. They did their last event this year in Tampa, which was like an amazing time. It's wild. It's a ball, it's a convention, it's chaos. It's
I
a great
love
time.
it. Heck yes. As us book girlies love the things chaotic, crazy, kinky. I love it. Heck yes. So Chelsea, I have a question for you. If you have to choose from the whole books that you have read, right? You have to create your own reverse harem, right? Mirror. You have to choose 3 to 5 men, or it doesn't have to be men. I don't know how is that for you. People, monsters, alien, whatever.
Women, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, of course. What?
Sorry.
Who will they be? Who are they?
Oh my God,
You can do it, baby.
Okay, first off, I've got the brain of a gnat, so I will probably forget
For
their names. The main guy in the dare, because that man has ruined me, and I would love to know what his boots taste like, honestly.
Oh, I'm so mad that Amazon Prime did
Okay,
not
so that's
deliver
one.
on time. I wanted that book and we haven't been able to. Oh, I'm so mad. Whew. Continue.
It's one of the first scenes. It is
Oh
wild.
my god! Oh my god!
Hey.
I am ready. I am ready.
I won't spoil anything else. But oh man.
Okay, so
Okay,
he's
all right.
one. You got one down.
Okay. JT Geissinger, I'm actually reading the third book in the series right now, wrote a series called Queens and Monsters. It's mafia.
Okay.
I love mafia.
It's like dark romance mafia. In the second book, it's a bit of an age gap.
We love it.
And he's an Irish captor.
Oh, Tierney actually recommended those books to us.
They're
No,
so
she
good.
did.
Listen to Tierney.
Yeah,
They're so
you
good.
should.
They're so good.
Are you sure it's the
Yeah,
same
I'm
one?
pretty sure.
Queens
Because,
and Monsters, yeah.
one is Irish.
Mhm.
One book, the guys are Irish. The other one is
No.
Russian. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's
No,
what she
she told-
recommended.
She told us it was ruthless creatures, carnal urges, savage hearts.
Creatures. That's the first
Oh,
book.
ruthless creatures?
Yeah.
That's the series. It's the Queens
Oh,
and Monsters
Queens and Monsters is the
So
name
it's
of the
Queens and Monsters
series.
series.
Okay. All right.
series.
So yeah, you
And,
guys are on the same page. I got
so
you.
it's Ruthless Creatures. I need to hit up Tierney and be like, you have phenomenal.
She's
taste."
amazing.
I think you guys will love each other. Yeah. So you like the Irish mafia
Oh.
mob guy. You like the guy, the
Yes.
first guy from
The
what's the
Dare.
book? The Dare.
The Dare.
And you have three. And you have two.
Okay. Honestly, probably. Oh God, what is her name? Jessica from Crescent City.
Oh.
I don't know what it is about Jessica,
Mhm.
but she's giving mommy, and I need to know more.
Susie, read Crescent City.
Oh man, okay.
I know. Stop. I will start soon. I promise. I just cannot without the other book out. But it's out. It's official. So I will.
Almost.
But Chelsea, are you more into like 3 guys, 3 people, reverse harem, or like more than 3? Because if you're okay with 3, we can leave it at 3.
I don't mind sharing. I don't mind a little more. Just as long as it doesn't get like, okay, here's my thing. I love why chooses in theory. And I feel like a lot of times why chooses can get like a little muddled because there's so many different characters. It's hard to differentiate like who each person is, their own personality trait, not being jealous. And like maybe it's just some of the why chooses I've read. The dialogue can get to be a little cringy. But when done well, and I've read a handful of ones that were well done, more is more. None of this less is more. More is
you
more.
see, I found my people. I found my people. Love it.
I mean, I think another one that I would absolutely have to say would be the Book of Azrael by Amber
I know
Nicole.
that one.
I've heard of that one.
The villain.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 4.
The villain in that book, his name is Caden.
Ooh.
He is not a good man by any means, and I'm so fine with that.
We love that.
I'm so fine with that. I think I've messaged Amber probably at least 50 times a year to be like, is he still up for grabs? Have you found him yet? Where can I find him?
I'm still looking for books where like the bad guy is actually a bad guy. Not, I mean, Rezan's great, or Rezand, or however you say his name. Reisz is great in A Court of Thorns and Roses, but like he wasn't really a bad guy. He was just pretending to be a bad guy. I want like an actual bad guy. I want like an actual shitty bad guy who would legit burn the world down for you. All right. I got you.
When I tell you the bad guy, so okay, first off, the main character is the villain, and her name is Diana. She's the villain. And like an actual bad person. For good reasons. For good reasons.
We don't care. I love it.
But still a bad person. The villain of the story is Caden, who's like her like boss. Like she answers to him. Awful. Not morally gray, morally black. Like he's not good at all. Like
and is there spice with him? Is there spice with him?
Yes.
Okay.
But like the spice that happens with the other characters is so much better.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I mean, I'm down for everything, but
it's a slow burn. It's not like super heavy spice off the bat, but like it edges.
He has like daddy energy, or like what type of energy? Ooh, that's my energy. Heck yes.
Okay, here's the thing. So I am probably not the person to ask about daddy energy because I've got daddy issues. So like my daddy energy is
Okay.
I actually had somebody comment on a video the other day that was like, "Can you give me like daddy recommendations?" And I'm like, I'm gonna give you the wrong recommendations.
I understand.
Yeah, no. I love the fact that you said it out loud like that and publicly because people are so afraid to say it, and you shouldn't be. That's great. That's an amazing fantasy. Like, I love it. In one of the most popular ones, people
Listen,
don't want to admit it. Admit your shit. Live your truth. You know.
I wouldn't have been this funny without the trauma.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna say that first.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The other day, I was texting somebody and they go, "You're really funny." And I had taken a picture of a shirt I saw in Spencer's and it just said, "Thanks, it's the depression." And I just sent the picture to her. I was so fucking happy I took that picture. I'm like, "Thanks, it's the depression." It's like, and I love that shirt exists. There's no context. It just says, "Thanks, it's the depression." And all of us funny ones know that it's a response to being like, "Wow, you're really funny." We all know.
Anytime I meet somebody that's like just really makes me gut laugh, I'm just like, I need to ask your therapist what's going on because you are too funny for nothing to be wrong.
Yeah, because it's true. So we have 4. See, we have 4. Do you want to add another one, or you're okay with 4?
I'm trying to think if there's any that like are like I feel like anytime I read a book, I'm like, this is my book.
I know, same.
I read another book and it happens again. I think I'm fine with this 4.
Something that we like to ask our guests is how reading smut and romance have like changed their lives. Because we think that, at least for me, after reading so many smutty books, I feel like I am so confident in bed. I feel more confident in my job. I feel more confident around people in general because I kind of like, I'm the main character and I get it now. You know what I mean? So I want to know that for you.
Confidence in bed is definitely like through the roof. I'm pretty sure my fiance is scared of me at this point.
That, my friend, is the only right answer. Heck yes.
You're not scaring your partner. What are you doing? No, I mean, I think one of the big takeaways from reading Spice that isn't like so much at the forefront is that it teaches people to be comfortable with knowing what they want. And not even just in terms of the bedroom, just in life in general. That it's like, I'm not afraid to talk about the things that I like, the things that I'm into, my hobbies, like any of that stuff. I feel like reading smut has made me more sex positive and then also more comfortable. Oh, sorry. Talking about things that I feel like people think are taboo.
Totally.
Like last night, my fiance and I had a conversation about like CNC. We had a friend that had
Chelsea, please let us know what is CNC for people that have no idea.
Sure. So CNC stands for consensual non-consent. The problem with consensual non-consent is it's very blurry lines between that and someone being like sexually assaulted or raped. I was telling my fiance about this last night too. The most important thing when it comes to these things is safe words. So the idea of it is that when partaking in the devil's tango, you might be saying no to your partner, but a safe word is established, so that way, if at any point it gets to be too far, too much, stop. And the reason why people sometimes will partake in these, and this is not every reason, people have their own reasons why they are into the things that they are, but one of the big contributing factors to it is like the idea of like losing control. So like for me, I'm a very like on top of my game. I'm nonstop. I'm always in control of everything. I never get the chance to just like someone else take it.
Basically Layla from Faking with Benefits. I get it.
No, literally. I read that book and I was like, I've never felt more seen in my life. If only my neighbors know.
I love it.
No, but the idea of someone being like, you're constantly putting up your own barriers. Let me test your limits. Let me show you that you can handle more. Obviously, safe words installed for that reason, but like, let me take the reins. Let me show you what you can handle. I think that's kind of an interesting way to like facing trauma, facing your own self-doubts and things like that. But like, not knowing that going into it, you're like, why would anyone want to willingly be sexually assaulted? And that's not what that is.
Yeah.
You are the type of reader then that actually practices what she finds out that she likes while reading, right? Oh,
All right. So what are some kinks that you
there are
unlocked with your spice reads?
Spanking for sure. I've always been like, this is okay. I'm more vocal about it now. I will literally be like, what are you doing? You could absolutely go harder.
I know
Spanking, you
a
said?
little bit about.
Ooh, okay.
I know that we talked a little bit about Credence and how we just didn't love the book. But what do you think about that spanking scene?
I wish it wasn't the uncle. It was so good. It's so good. I feel like definitely being more vocal too. Like I was never one that said much of anything. Because I was always really shy or really like nervous about saying something that like comes out weird. At this point, I'm just like throwing stuff and seeing what sticks. And sometimes I'll be like, not that. Like, okay. Like, so like, obviously I have daddy issues. The whole daddy thing does not faze me because whatever. Partner is not game for daddy because he has a dad. So like, I tried it once. He was like, never again. I was like, okay, all right.
Oh my God, you know what? You're so right. I never thought about that because I was like, why people have a problem with daddy? And then I realized I like didn't meet my dad until I was 21. So I never called anyone dad ever. And so I was like, yeah, I'll call you daddy. And now I'm getting like, if I had a father figure growing up, I don't want to think about him in bed. I wouldn't want to call anyone mommy.
Oh, heck no.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, if someone said mommy, I'm going for the hills. No. Absolutely not.
I do have a dad though. And when I do it, I do not think about my dad at all. At all. That doesn't.
But wait, but what if somebody was calling you?
Do you call your dad daddy though?
Oh, if someone was calling me mommy, I will.
No.
I will disappear.
Yeah. But like, do you also call your dad daddy or do you call him dad or papa?
Both.
I don't know. What do you say, Venezuela?
Both, papi, and dad. And papi, yeah, both.
But you never were like, hi, daddy.
Yeah, I don't know if that could be.
Then it's like your.
Have you ever called anybody step uncle in bed? Oh, uncle.
You only say uncle when you only say uncle when you're losing some sort of wrestling match. Apparently, that's not for sex.
Oh my god!
I feel like uncle's like a safe word.
It is a safe word.
Yeah, that is a good. Yeah, that is a good safe word. I like that.
That's a good one.
Love it. So
I won't use it, but
you've been
for anybody else listening.
You've been traumatized by Credence. You can't.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, definitely not.
Oh my god, it was weird. It was awkward. Let's just pass that again. We're not talking about the books.
So you're saying okay. So moving on, you said that like you'll try anything and like you just throw and see what sticks, right? And so your fiance, he's around for it. Is he fully on board with you being on this like romance reading smut journey, or is he just tolerating it?
Yes.
No, he supports me, discovering my sexuality and, like having like a comfortable relationship with sex and being comfortable speaking about it and all that. I think I sometimes can come off a little overbearing with wanting to try stuff. And he's always supportive. He's never like absolutely not get out of here. He'll usually be like, well, maybe let's pump the brakes a little bit. I don't read that stuff. This is all very new.
So he doesn't read your stuff either. He's not into it.
No, so he's not a reader at all. No, I take that back. He'll only read when I'm in the middle of a spicy scene and I'm sitting on the couch. Yes. I'll look over my shoulder and be like, what does that? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Freaking time. Same. Why? They do that.
I don't know. They want the attention. They're like, hey, she's making that face. Only I make her make that face.
Or they can like feel the energy emanating from us, like, oh my god.
The pheromones or something.
Yeah. Definitely.
I love laughing about like really bizarre things that happen in books, and it's not usually until later that I was like, am I into that? Like at first I'm just like, get a load of this thing. Isn't this crazy? And then like I have a great relationship with my friends too. So I'll tell my fiance, I'll tell my friends, and they'll be like, oh, so what'd you read recently? And I'm like, a man dunked his junk in a cat bowl and had a girl lick it like a cat. So that was a thing.
Meow, meow, meow.
I love it.
Meow, meow, meow.
And telling you, I've read a lot of weird stuff. Yeah. So like anytime I'm like reading anything, they'll be like, is there any minotaurs in this? Any bowls of milk? I'm like, believe it or not,
bowls
no.
of milk.
This is a
That's
fairly
very
vanilla
specific.
normal book.
I love it. So
Oh,
Chelsea, I want to know how you passed from reading only to actually start making videos. Like, what inspired you to do that?
So I started reading really heavily during quarantine, and I had a couple of friends that read, but not that much. So I would be like, did you read this book? Did you read that book? And they're like, no, I'll eventually get to it. And I was like, I hate that I can't talk to anybody about this.
Yeah.
So I downloaded TikTok, and one of my friends was actually making, I think, videos for like records or like music or something like that. And he was like, it's so crazy. You upload a video and I have like 300 views on it. And I was like, 300? I'm like, that's insane. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to post book videos. And at the time it was like, you know, the ones where it's like books that I really like. And it's like, here's a book. And like that, it was one of those things. And I was like, okay, like I got a couple hundred views. This is really cool. And then I was like, I'm the way I am. I'm very neurotic. I have these like really half-brain ideas. I like to think I'm fairly funny.
You are funny.
You're
Very, very
thank
funny.
You. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I had an idea for like one video where I acted out a skit, and it's not even on my TikTok anymore. It was something like me recommending a book to somebody, and they were like, oh yeah, I hated this. I gave it like 1 star on Goodreads, and it's me just like looking over, and then it's just like a doctor like doing surgery, and it's like, what do you want me to do with her heart? And she's like, throw it in the trash. I don't want it. And I was like, I love doing skits, even though at the time they weren't getting many views. I was like, this is so fun to me. And I did a TBR interview for, I want to say it was like the Song of Achilles, and it got like 1,000 views. And I was like, I've never had 1,000. This is insane. And then I did the same kind of video style for Red, White, and Royal Blue. 500,000 views.
I
was like,
found my
I'm gonna have
niche.
to quit my job.
Like, oh my God.
Call the limo.
Call the LA agent. We're going to LA.
Yeah, and it's kind of just been like a downhill not downhill, but like it's kind of just been rolling since then. I've been like doing the TBR interview stuff, and then that, like after doing it for like 1.5 years or so, started to kind of fizzle out, and I was like, okay, I'm still making, you know, random videos here and there. And I had this like harebrained idea in bed one time, literally laying there watching TV, my mouth guard's in, I'm wearing like sweat clothes, and I just like pop my mouth guard out. I'm like, babe, just like, what? And I was like, what if someone asked for a book rec, right? And he's like, okay. And I was like, but they're not specific enough. And I'm like, well, do you mean this, this, or this? And I was like, but then they tell me what they mean. And I'm like, but what about this, that, and that? And there's so many other options. It's like a rabbit hole. And he was like, yeah, okay, I guess I can make a good video. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to make it. Thinking it was going to be just like a one shot. Spoiler alert, it was not. Yeah, I made that video. I think I sat at about 70,000 followers. I made that video and a couple videos after, and right now I'm at about.
I know, babe.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Videos when the first
They're
time I
so
saw your
funny.
video, I was like, this concept is fucking, because I feel like it was customer service, but at the same time you're like being rude, but you're being like serious about it, and I love it. It was so fucking cool. I love it for reals. You know, we love the banter. Like, you're like, okay, but what do you need? But you need to be more specific. I love it. It's like an Italian grandma yelling at me. I love it.
You want a love story? Oh, cool. Haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I love that it always ends up being like the most deranged, like at the end. Yeah, just like
recommendation.
Where did she even find this book? Like, I feel like you go onto Amazon and you just like, or you like find a website where you can just filter out by the most deranged shit, and then you find the book. I don't know.
So that's the trouble with doing this series too. So like all of the books that I've recommended are all books that I have read. I don't typically I will never usually recommend a book that I haven't read because I've been burned in the past with like trying to help authors promote, the book gets published and it's not anything that I would normally push for. So I usually try and read it so I know what I'm recommending to people. I also wouldn't recommend a book that I personally don't like. Like you would never see me ask for like, I want a book that like was your favorite of all time. And I'd be like, Credence. Like if you see that, call the police because I'm probably kidnapped.
I'm gonna write that down just in case.
But,
you know?
Yes.
Credence could be your safe word
too.
Right. When you're not feeling it anymore, you're like, Credence.
Credence. That's another thing too that I love about this series. So like my fiance and I have been together also like 10 years. And he's been very supportive of me making the videos. Like for the first year I was doing this, I was like, I'm going to plug in my name in your like users thing so you can block me because I never want you to see these. I'm so like freaked out at the idea of people watching me. Like it just feels cringy. I don't know. And then with doing this new series, he's been such a good sport about doing the Phyllis thing. So like he'll dress up with like the wig and the glasses and he's like got the raunchiest recommendations. It was so funny. We were talking about trying to incorporate another like side character with him, but like having a different wig. And he's like, well, like, who is she going to be? And like, what's her backstory? And I'm like, I love this for you.
He's actually like craving it. And I love that for him.
I love that.
This isn't even my TikTok anymore. I'm just here for the
No, Chelsea, you are the side character. He's the main.
Honestly, that's fine.
Have you had any like weird or strange interactions with new followers since gaining your popularity on booktok? Like have you gotten like hate mail, you need Jesus comments, feet pics recommendations or requests?
Like, and then go to hell, don't read those books, you need the Bible,
you need Jesus.
I mean I have had like so I try my best to be as like easily like able to access like in terms of like having conversations with people. I do, especially since starting this series, have had a lot of people in my inbox asking for specific recommendations. And again, I'll only recommend stuff that I've read. So sometimes people are like, I want Shifter and I want them to be a Taurus and I want them to have blue fingernails. And I'm like, that's too specific. I don't think I've read that. And like, I get so many of these that it's hard for me to respond to people. But prior to blowing up as much as I did have somebody reach out and they were like, I love your videos. Can we be friends? And I'm like, yeah, man, let's be friends. And every single day they were like, what are you doing? How are you doing? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Thank you for checking up on me. And it's like, well, you're not talking to me. Do you hate me? Do you not want to be my friend anymore? And I was like, listen, I appreciate your love and support. Thank you for that.
That's
and I felt kind of bad, but I was like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I couldn't really keep up with that. I will say as somebody who's like been on the internet since like the 2000s, I've had my fair share of like people being creepy in like comments on pictures and things like that. TikTok, believe it or not, even Instagram,
heck yeah,
not many creepy people. Everybody's been pretty nice. Like nobody's been like where are you at, what you doing, can I get pics? Like it's mostly just been like, why haven't you answered me about a recommendation? Which is really nice. Honestly, most of the like the sexual harassment has come from my friends. Like your shirt should have been lower.
Why can't I see your tits?
After like have you like friends started reading after your popularity on TikTok? Like they see you being so popular on TikTok and they're like, oh my God, I need to read too. Have they like had that change of mindset or no?
So I do have a couple friends that like had started reading or like maybe had read a couple books in the past. And then I started gaining popularity on TikTok and they were like, what do I do next? And because I have kind of such a backlog of stuff, they're like, I'm looking again for this specific kind of book. What do you think would fit that vibe? And I could be like, this one, that one, these ones. I have a video here. Watch the video. I've got so many recommendations on there. It's funny too. So like, I don't live in my hometown anymore. But with my videos gaining the traction they have, I've had a handful of people from college and from high school that are like, hey, and I'm like, no, you don't perceive me. But I have had a couple of friends from like back home that were like, oh, we're thinking about starting a book club. You should join us. Or like, what recommendations do you have and things like that, which is, I appreciate the
Not
offer
your
for the book
thing.
club thing. I'm good.
You gave us homework because we were thinking about,
I did.
what could we talk with Chelsea about on this podcast? And she's like, I would love to talk about indie authors and like, give those authors some more like recognition and talk about them. And we were like, heck yes, give us books. We want to read books about these authors. And she gave us, I think, 4. It was
Three.
4, Reshea? 4, 3 books. Okay. So one was Faking with Benefits. Faking with Benefits. That's what I'm reading. Reshea, what are you reading right now?
I'm reading Tryst 6 Venom by Penelope Douglas, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the third one was The Dare.
Yes, by Harley LaRue.
Before we get into the homework that you gave us, that, by the way, we are loving it. Like,
loving it.
I
don't know how, without even speaking to us, you just like gave the perfect book for Sussy and the perfect book for me. And I'm like, I will be taking this one. Susie's like, I'm going to take this one. I'm like, yay. We were so excited.
You guys know that anything reverse harem, anything kinky, that's me. And anything kind of like sapphic, I will say, and LGBTQ-ish is going to be more you.
The gayer, the better for me. 100%.
Yeah.
Always.
Definitely.
Like, honestly, and I do love fucking around, but like the less dicks, the better usually. Yeah.
I agree, but you guys
disagree also. No, we know.
You guys know. Even though as a bisexual woman, heck yeah, we love the vajayjays too. You guys know. Before we start talking about the books specifically, why indie authors? What is it, the love that you have for them? Why they need to talk about them? I want to know more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I going into reading didn't really understand the publication process or what indie authors even really were. And it wasn't until I kind of got more involved that I realized really what goes into writing a book. So anybody can write, I like the word like the on a piece of paper, put it on like Amazon, like Kindle Unlimited, and like publish it. If you're writing a book, though, it's like there's a lot of process that goes into outlining and then writing the story and then spending money on editors and beta readers. And, there's this whole process that goes into writing, right? When you are doing it through a publishing house, the publishing house will find you editors. They will work on getting the book, like looking the way it should, find you artists to do the cover, make sure it's proofread, find you beta readers. They will do all that work for you. When you're an indie author, you are doing all your homework. You are paying for all that stuff for not a huge payback a lot of the time. They're doing their own advertisement on top of writing books and then continuing series. It's a lot that goes into it for just in hopes that someone picks their book up and likes it. With the following that I have, and honestly, just some of the indie books that I've read, I'm like, I could promote published work, but there's people that get paid to do that on a daily basis. That's literally what the publishing house is for. I, when possible, try and promote books that aren't done through a publishing house or kind of could use that extra push to get their stories out.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I follow a lot of authors on TikTok and a lot of indie authors on TikTok. And I've heard lately talk about people's complaining like, don't you hate it when you read a book and it leaves you on a cliffhanger and the next book hasn't come out yet? And then somebody else goes, yeah, that's why I don't read anything unless it's a completed series. And then there's all these indie authors that are talking about like, you understand that like when you don't buy that first book and read that first book and I don't make money from that first book, I'm not getting, and you're saying like, you're going to wait, you're expecting me to write 5 whole books or 4 books. And I'm not going to get any money from any of that for what the 8 years that it takes to do something like that. If you're a fast writer, so I've started like seeing indie authors in a whole new light. And plus there's like a lot of like companies trying to take advantage of indie authors, knowing that they're vulnerable. And so I totally appreciate what you're doing. Oh, I think that's awesome.
Totally. Yep. Thank you, Chelsea. We love it. And your recommendations are always very spot on. If you like what you like and you see her and she has a recommendation for you of what you like, you're going to love it. I'm telling you, because she recommended us, at least that's what I'm reading right now, Faking with Benefits. Oh my God. You guys, you know that I'm obsessed with Poking Around. Those are my guys.
Mhm.
They are everything
Mhm.
to me. I love them. But now I got 3 more. And I'm so happy. I cannot be more happy. Okay,
Yeah.
so before we start talking about the book, fuck, marry, kill. Josh, Luke, and Zach. Tell me.
Okay, so it's been a while since I read it. All right, so I think it's going to be
Okay.
marry Zach.
Good sex though.
Kill Luke. And fuck Josh.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
I think
he
Luke is a
is.
great guy, right?
Yeah.
I think Luke's a big sweetheart. The fact that he
I
was fighting it
know.
for so long,
Life is
I
life
short.
is short, baby. I
I
need you to
know.
hurry up.
And you're 40, babes. Like, get a grip. Damn.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
it together.
I
Get it
love
together.
it. Okay, I haven't finished the book. I'm actually 52% in right now. But so far I have a good point.
Okay.
Good pointers right now. So I love how smutty the book is, but at the same time, it's so funny. Like I am in the subway reading it. I don't know how, by the way, because we got into the smut right now, and I was at the bus today, and I was like, oh my god, I shouldn't be reading this here. Oh my god, I'm so flushed. What am I doing? And that almost never happens to me, but with this book, it's happening. Okay, so it is so funny. Like I'm on the subway and I'm freaking smiling and laughing like out loud. It's so funny. I love that really good. I haven't read her other books. I do have the other, like the Bodyguards one and the other ones. They're coming. I need them in physical because
Yeah. So I haven't read the other ones yet, but one of the big take homes for me with that series is like we were talking about reverse harems, and a lot of times it's the same tropes with the reverse harem. It's like because the topic is taboo,
yeah,
the boys also have to be taboo. Like they're like edgy and they're alternative and they're tattooed and they're which is fine. I'm not knocking it. Like listen, my fiance is a tattoo artist. I'm into it.
That's hot. That's hot. And his
That's
name's
really
Glenn.
hot.
A tattoo artist named Glenn is just
but-
cracking me up right now.
Heck yes.
But no, so Faking with Benefits is like
Yeah.
rom-com reverse harem, which I was like, that's an interesting take on it. So it's like it's all the spice of a Why Choose with all the quirky silliness of a rom-com, and
Perfectly.
it was done so well. Like I know you're not finished it yet, but like it was one of the funnest reads I think I've had.
Lily Gold, the author, she will make you laugh and come at the same time, and it's funny because it's true. It's so freaking true. Like
It's absolutely
right now,
true.
I know you're
It's
not into
absolutely
like
true.
you will kill Luke in the Fuck, Marry, Kill, but right now he just grab her by the neck and they're just making it look like, oh, because if you guys know, I'm a kinky bitch, and that means that I love Zach, I love Josh, but they're very conventional. It's cute. It's we love it. Heck yeah, Zach is huge. We love it. But when Luke and he says like, I don't know, there's something that I become when I'm just horny, and I'm like, heck yeah, baby, I'm into that.
We love to see it.
Yeah, I loved it. So let me think. Oh yeah, I love the fact that she really got into the I want to be horny, but laughing at the same time with this book. Like you are flushed, you're feeling all the feelings. You need a shower after reading it, right? But then you're like, I'm laughing my ass out because it's funny. It's really good.
I think that's what kind of won me over with it too. Is like again, I'm a very funny person. I like to make jokes. I like anybody who has like been with a partner for a while and hasn't had one like good hearty laugh mid-sex.
That's the best sex.
They should probably not be together. Honestly, like there's something so wholesome. Right? Like we are good for putting TV on in the background for noise, and it's always like some kind of like adult cartoon where it's like American Dad or Futurama. And,
Listening
like,
to Family Guy while you're fucking. I love that.
We gotta take a second.
You just hear Stewie in the background.
That's what reading Lily Gold's book felt like to me. It's the seriousness of the spice.
Totally.
The ha-has
Loved
of the
it.
rom-com.
And I do have to say, I love how these women just represented most of my friends and women that I know in my life on how Layla is just not enjoying sex, not enjoying kissing. She doesn't know how to date. She's been on 120 dates. For her, it never felt enjoyable. It always felt like a job. And the concept of the whole book, I just think is fascinating how she just, okay, guys, you're going to teach me how to date,
how to fuck, how to kiss, and we're not gonna fall in love. How, babes? That is impossible.
I also think I thought you guys would like that because it takes place on a podcast. So it's like it's full circle.
It's Inception.
It's like
I'm telling you,
podcastception.
we added some things to this podcast because of that book. It's interesting how she's like, I never came before with a guy, or like, I don't know how to enjoy these, interactions, or she has trauma and they're working that right now on the book, right? But she is representing so many women with this character, and I just find that is so beautiful, because I think if I recommend this book to most of my friends, they will be like, I understand her, I love her, she's me, I am her, and that beautiful.
I love that.
I think this book, actually, the name would have been "What Do You Want?" Because that's the question that they ask the most to her. They're always like, "Okay, we're doing this. What do you want? Okay, we're almost putting it in. What do you want? How do you want to feel?" I loved it. But
Like, did you say we're about to put it in?
Yeah.
And they're like, just the tip. What do you want? I have to read this book.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's
It
so
is
good.
really good.
It's fairly vanilla.
We love
It is
consent.
fantastic. But I love
It's so
I
good.
love I love how he is like, babes, I understand that the guys that you have been, maybe they were not the best in bed, but you need to know, what do you want? You know? Chef kiss.
There's something to be said too for a cocky man that's just like, I know you haven't had the best. Let me show you the best. And it isn't just
Not just a mediocre man who thinks he's
Love a
really
cocky
good
man.
and just has never been told the truth. He's actually really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Totally. Honestly, I understand why you will marry Zach.
Yeah.
Because same. No doubt. Same.
I just want to be like lifted above someone's head.
I'm sorry.
You need to read
honestly.
Pucking Around. You need to read that book.
Please read Pucking Around.
So,
Okay.
with
I'm
this
moving
book,
it
I
up.
will
I'm going to
say,
move it up. I promise.
you can laugh, you can learn, and you can come and have a good time at the same time. So definitely recommend. Reshea, to your book now.
Okay, so you had me read Tryst Venom. I want to know why you love the book first before we get into it. It's like, what made you love that book enough to recommend?
I actually came out as bisexual this past year. It took me a really long time for just personal reasons. I feel like with reading more sapphic and even just LGBTQ books in general, there was a lot of things that were brought to light of like, oh, I didn't realize that these things that I was feeling are actually that. Like, I just chalked it up to something else because it couldn't have been me having feelings for someone else. Like, yeah, I think my friends are hot and I would like to kiss them. That's just because they're pretty, right? No straight person in their right mind would think that. So,
Please, oh my God, please watch the very first video I ever put on TikTok, because it's almost verbatim what you just said. And at the end, I was like, no, honey, you're a gay. You're one of us now.
It's really that. And like, so reading Tryst Venom, I am such a sucker. Again, so we were talking about like our favorite kinks and I said mind change weekly. I'm so into degradation. I don't know why. We'll have to talk to my therapist about that later.
Yeah, baby.
Something about I am just such a simp for a bully romance. I don't, and it's gotta be, but here's the thing, it's gotta be a good bully romance. I don't want them being like, haha, you
want the Sharpie scene?
So she's the popular girl and the other girl's the outcast, and they play on the same lacrosse team and they're out practicing together, just the two of them. It starts raining, they get physical, and it's to the point that they're ready to start throwing fists.
Yes, physical fighting. Like, there's parts where they do physically fight. They do get thrown in the principal's office because the outcast Olivia comes in and just tries to beat the shit out of her in the it's fighting.
I need to read this. I was
like, I don't know why I love this so much, but
have you ever?
It's so good.
Sorry, I was gonna say, have you ever read a bully romance before this, or was this the first one?
I've read a handful of ones that I guess could be considered bully romance, but this one by far I think is best done. So Zodiac Academy, I think technically is considered a bully romance. It didn't really hit the mark for me. it felt very much like we're just teasing and picking on each other. Whereas like this felt like full blown like bullying, which I loved.
Yeah,
Clay
she's
is
still
not
like she just
openly
said I'm not gay.
So
I'm just
it's
in
a
love
lot
with
of
you.
her-
And we're like, what?
Babe, open your eyes.
Yeah. Hmm.
honey, who's gonna tell her? No, but and like as somebody that like struggled with their own sexuality for 28 years, that was a huge thing for me too. That I was like, wow, like they really nailed what it felt like to be in the closet and not even realize
Well,
it.
Chelsea,
And I love that.
congratulations.
Oh yeah, congrats on joining the Alphabet Mafia. We meet on Thursdays.
We do. Actually, no, Mondays.
Oh yes, come with us on Mondays.
Yeah.
But I it's crazy. I'm still like reeling that the universe told you to tell us to read this book, because I am exactly like you. I legit for the longest time was like, I'd see like girls. I mean, I was in a mostly conservative school, but there were a couple, you know, the outcasts who were like, I don't care, I'm gay, and you know, I'm just who I am. And I would see them, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could have a girlfriend. Too bad I'm straight, you know, or just like trying to like find excuses to like make out with your friends. You're like, everybody wants to make out with their friends. Everybody thinks that their best friends are hot, right? Like that's something that every straight woman thinks. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh,
that was a rough. Oh, like when I was talking to my friend across the street, I was like, yeah, like you want to make out with your friends, right? And she's like, no. And I was like, why? But aren't they pretty? Well, yeah, she's gorgeous. But anyways, sure. I guess straight people exist. I don't know, but
I don't believe it.
Here's the thing. My sister-in-law nailed it on the term. So sexuality is a spectrum. And so you can be like, but it's not really a spectrum. It's more of a circle. So like you could say like, I would never look at another woman. I cannot see other women. I only see men. And it's like, why are you so far here? Because it feels like you're compensating for the fact that it's the other way, right? And then there's people that are like, I think women are super hot. I love staring at them. I don't know if I'd ever like pursue a woman, but like I love to look at them. Like it's definitely like a spectrum of it. Like, and anybody that's like too far on one side or the other, I'm like,
protest too much.
That's a little sus. I don't believe you.
Yeah. I had never read a bully romance before, which is strange because I too think that I would love to explore degradation extensively. And yet I never really
I will say you will enjoy it, but I think it's more of a praising degradation type of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely need to know that I'm doing a good job, because then I'll just get in my head that I'm not doing a good job. But if it's like, aren't you the best little disgusting slut I've ever seen in my life?
Exactly, babe. Let me tell you why. I have tried both, and only degradation is gonna make you cry so hard. You don't want that. You don't want that.
Just hurts.
I was the praising part.
Yeah, I was thinking like, I want somebody to tell me what they want me to do, give me directions, tell me, no, not like that. Do it like this, use more teeth, don't use more teeth, blah, blah. And then like when I do a good job, have them be like, there it is, the best blowjob I've ever had or whatever. Like I want to know that I am the best at the thing that you're telling me to do. Okay. That's all. I want to, if they could just pull out a gold star and stick it on my forehead mid fuck, I'd be fine with it. Best slut.
So I'm just curious now. Have you guys ever asked your partner to try a thing and they kind of missed the mark?
One person cannot give you everything.
The only reason why I ask is because there was a good girl instance that didn't go according to plan. It was just, not like that.
I specifically, okay, I will say like my smut journey was like 50 Shades of Grey a decade ago. And then I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. And then the next thing I read was Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline. So like I kind of just dove straight in. It was, I didn't
wow,
know.
what a joke.
But anyway, so I was like, I wasn't aware. And I was just like, so like, do you think maybe we could try like just a little bit of like, you know, maybe this. And it was just like, no, you giggle way too much if I.
Go get the gun.
Would you mind using your gun? I would have to clean that. Do you know how long it would take me to clean that afterwards? Absolutely not.
No.
It's gonna rust, Reshea. No. No, but just like, they were just like, my husband was just like, the last time I said something in bed, you laughed so hard. And I was like, it was funny. I'm sorry. It was just like a straight up like, no, I will not be doing that today. And I was like, I guess I have to respect everybody's boundaries and like whatever your hard boundaries are, but all right. Like, I guess I'll just read more.
Disappointed, but whatever.
All right. I just said I wouldn't punch you in the face. That's all.
Because you hate me.
So yeah, like I first of all,
we do
I
like
had,
these things. We're not not liars here. We're actually into this. So
yeah, unfortunately, yeah, like unfortunately, we just have to be who we are all the time, and we have to like just let our freak flag fly, and everybody see it. Yeah, it's a little. Yep. But no, so okay, back to the book. I know for me, I was hesitant at first because I get weird reading about high school kids. And what was shocking for me was, as a person who's always been like, give me an adult, please. I'm reading this as if I'm reliving my high school years in a much cooler way. Like if I had gone through my sexual awakening 20 years ago, oh my God, I just aged myself. Like 20 years ago, or no, I guess like 15 years ago still. But I'm surprised at how easy it is for me to relate to these characters. Like you, I wasn't expecting to relate to the bully at all. And before going into it's like, I don't understand how somebody could possibly want to fall for their bully. Like, I don't see how that's possible. It's unrealistic to me. That just sounds terrible. And then I read it and I get it. I 100% get it.
I will say too, I think part of my hyperfixation with bully romances, and my fiance loves to rub my nose in it. I was not the nicest to him when we first became friends. So like, not to that extent. I wasn't like fist fighting him. I was like kind of rude. I was kind of a jerk. There was one time we were hanging out and he was like trying to make a move and I threw a shoe at his crotch.
You had a Farrah moment.
It wasn't
a Farrah moment.
Yeah. So like anytime I'm reading a book that's like bully romance, I'm like, I'm loving how mean this woman is. And my fiance's like, huh, you don't say. Like, wonder why.
Oh my God.
Like, but who's got the ring?
I don't cook, but let me tell you, I got this ring.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh my God.
Be mean to me.
Okay, but I need to ask the $1 million questions out. Is your fiance a sub?
No.
I feel like it's also a spectrum.
No. I don't think we've ever really established it. I'm pretty.
You say you will
like aggressive.
Put him in like a switch label.
I think we both kind of are. I think we're both so new to trying stuff that like neither of us have like. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I'm more comfortable with stuff that I think I've like kind of like given him the name badge, and I'm like, you are Dom.
I love
Surprise.
that. If
Happy
it works
birthday.
for you guys,
like,
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So I haven't read much Penelope Douglas. This is my first book by her that I've read, but I did want to touch on the fact that she did such an amazing job of writing a compelling story outside of the romance. And for people who also enjoy good world building and storytelling outside of, the spice and the smut, I don't think I could recommend this book enough. Because I've read romance books and things like that where it's just like if you took the flirting and the fucking out, there's like 4 pages, you know, like and that's great for what it is. Like, just if you're reading a romance novel just because you need to get your rocks off and you just want to read some dirty shit, like, good for you. That's awesome. But reading this book, the subplot of the income disparity and the social ladder issues, along with like, oh, are they taking the land from the native people? Like, I think she did a really good job of like writing a story that could stand alone on its own, and then the story of the coming out and realizing who you are and the sex and the hot stuff was like this wonderful like seasoning, like spicy seasoning on top of it. And I didn't know if that was something that like matters to you when you're reading your romance novels, but that's something that I really enjoy and I appreciated so much about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my reading journey has become trying to find that euphoric like trifecta of amazing tension, fantastic spice, awesome storyline. Bonus points if it makes me cry. I'm a sucker for a good cry. But those are the 3. Because like you can have a story with a great plot, really spicy spice, no tension. Or you can have a book with a lot of tension and a lot of spice, but the plot doesn't really exist. Or you can have a book with a lot of tension and a lot of plot, but then there's no spice. And it's like, I love finding books that have all 3. And I felt like in Tryst Venom, that's kind of one that like hit all 3, and it was sapphic, which I feel like, I mean, and that's my own fault. There's a handful of sapphic books out there. And I'm never one to be like, if you're looking for a sapphic rec, I'm your girly. Cause I honestly haven't read much sapphic. I'll be honest. It took me a really long time to get comfortable with reading sapphic. Again, for personal reasons, but I'm opening up to it. I'm becoming more, like more knowledgeable of the genre and the stories themselves. So like, I always recommend that one.
Yeah. The evolution of Clay discovering who she is. And I know we're still in the middle of it because like I said, I've just gotten the part where she's like, I'm not gay, I'm just in love with you. I'm like, oh honey. Like it's so great because I feel like for any of the late gays out there, any of the people who came out later in life, it's so relatable because you've had all of these same thoughts. I don't have a crush on her. I just want to spend every waking moment with her. And when she's not, like, she's my best friend. And when she's not there, I don't want to do anything else. And I'm constantly texting her and blah, blah, blah. And then you like get in a fight with your best friend who you've like secretly got a crush on, and your whole world is falling apart because it's more than that for you, but you don't realize it. And if for anybody who is bi, pan, gay, and maybe didn't realize it till later in life, this book is fucking amazing. And it is so hot. Holy shit. Oh, and then when Liv just goes, she says she just nodded her head like a good girl. I was like, what? Oh my God. Oh.
I need to just have like fanfare and like streamers go off every time I see the phrase "good girl" in a story. Like I melt. I don't know what it is. Like it's a like that was easy button, like from Staples, like just good girl. Like
what a vintage reference. I really love that from you.
I'm gonna patent it. I swear to God, if anybody else.
Chelsea, are you into
I need to find
audiobooks?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am so into audiobooks. Majority of the books that I read are audiobooks. I know we asked earlier, like the rapid fire, like what my book of preference is. It's so hard to answer because I feel like I love all types of medias. Like in terms of reading quickly, I love doing audiobooks because I can kind of power through them. I can get stuff done. I have ADHD. I can't sit still for 5 minutes, so it's great.
We tend to stick together.
Spicy group. I really love paperback. Right. Birds of an ADHD feather flock together.
The universe creates us, and we just, we find each other.
Like magnets.
And like ebooks are great because you can have them on the go. Paperbacks are great because they're lightweight, and then hardcovers are great because I don't have to worry about breaking the spine. So it's like all of them have their own unique features to them. But no, I love audiobooks.
So we couldn't read there because Amazon was not delivering, pun intended. But I want you to give us like an elevator pitch of the book? Like, tell it to us. Why should we read it?
You came to the
I
right
know.
influencer. Let me tell you what. Okay, so we just
Mhm.
talked about how really into the bully romance, right?
Ooh.
So hang on, I'm gonna grab
It's
it.
big.
So the dare, right?
Oh,
This is how
Yeah.
big it is.
Yeah.
It is
oh my
so
God.
tiny. It is, let me tell you,
Yeah.
Oh.
140 pages. It's so good. I saw it at an indie bookstore and I snatched it off the shelf. I was like, give me this book right now. I've been meaning to read it for a really long time. So Jessica is the it girl at
Yes.
school. She's popular. She's on the cheerleading squad. She's the girl. And what is his name?
Is it Glenn?
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
Oh.
Manson.
No, it's
Ooh.
Manson.
Like Charles
Yeah.
Manson.
Like
Alright.
Charles or Marilyn.
So
Yeah.
he's a psycho. We love him.
Manson.
Mm.
Manson is the
Mhm.
outcast boy. So kind of the same vibe as Trist's Venom, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
It's 6 months post graduation from high school. They're at a Halloween party, and Jessica realizes that Manson's at the party, and she's like, "Oh, Manson got kicked out of school because like we may or may not have hooked up. He may or may not have gotten into a fight with my boyfriend at the
Oh.
time and threatened my boyfriend with a knife." And it's like, oh,
We like
okay,
him
so
already.
Manson's not to be messed
Mhm.
with. Right? So Jessica's like, we're at a party. I'm going to go play Pong. Manson comes up to the table
Mm.
and is like, let's make this more interesting. Let's play Drink or Dare.
Okay.
We love it.
Yeah.
I'm good at that because it's
Okay.
a lot. It's a lot. It's and this is just a pre-novella.
Okay.
Like you could read it as a standalone and be fine with it. I could not get enough of it. When I tell you I was like heavy panting, I was like, I cannot read this book in my own house. I need to be in a bunker.
Wow.
It was so steamy.
So it's
It had me like, you know, it's the meme where it's like, I'm not into that, am I? No, wait, am I? No.
but wait.
Like,
It's
it was that
definitely
for
not
me.
a
I was
book
like,
to read on the subway, right?
no. I read it at home. And I'm so glad it was so small because I stayed up until the wee hours of the morning reading it because I was like, I can't in good faith read this at work. I will combust.
Love that.
Okay,
Will
definitely starting
explode.
tomorrow when I get got it.
So the Dare is technically
Okay.
the prequel to the Losers Duet. So again, you can read the Dare as a standalone, but the Losers Duet is its own series that you can read. I read the first one. I'm waiting for the second one to come out on audiobook so I can read that one. I personally thought the Dare was really spicy, but I think it was the like less is more.
Definitely
You
not.
don't have to
Mhm.
chock it full of nonsense if
Yeah.
you don't
Totally.
need it. Just
Yeah, so what we're saying
come
is
to mama.
Harley LaRue and Sarah J.
Like-
Maas do not follow the same the same thought processes with content quantity.
Nar. Chelsea, what is the dirtiest, filthiest book you ever read?
I get asked this often, and it's
I
hard
know.
to answer, A, because I have the memory of a gnat.
Yes.
And B, because spice is subjective, right? So again, we talked about like, is it the tension? Is it the BDSM? Is it the kinks? Is it whatever? I still think it's probably a toss up between two. I talk about this series a
know how
lot.
that
It's The Wicked Villains. It's
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Disney princesses choosing the villains instead of the princes. It is spicy. Learn My Lesson is Meg and Katie's and Hercules. Sub, it's pegging, it's
I love it.
and again, hang on because I have it right here.
Yes.
Okie dokie,
Yes,
Team
artichoke.
Tiny.
I am down.
Like the second option is probably The Red from Tiffany Reisz. So it's Reisz, I believe. That one was one that was really unexpected. So 2 of my friends that I went on vacation with, I had asked them, and they're also pretty big readers. We all met through Instagram. I was like, what's the spiciest thing you've ever read? And both of them said Thread. Or they had recommended Tiffany Reisz. But they both swear that this is the spiciest stuff they ever read.
And you do recommend?
I did. And it was.
Is it on the kinkier side, or is it like more the slow burn? It's very sexy, or how is it?
So it's definitely on the kinkier side. But not in the traditional sense, if that makes sense. So like, so the main character owns a art boutique, like they sell like paintings and things like that. And the store's going under. It's a family business. It's kind of going out of business. A guy walks in and is like, hey, I have a proposition for you. I will give you these like multi-million-dollar paintings to sell. In exchange, I want you to be my prostitute. And she's like, and he's like, these are multi-million-dollar paintings.
Everybody's got a price.
This guy's kind of hot.
So here's my question for you.
Everybody's got a price.
So what is your lowest price that you would have to have for that situation for you to give somebody a yes in that situation? If he's hot, like he's super hot, right? Like super hot guy, but you've got morals, you know.
No self-respect.
I'll make it easier for you. You're not engaged.
I feel like if someone walked in and was like I want to say like $5,000. Oh my god! This is like, I mean, it's already a win. You could have just asked, but now you're.
Sussy, what about you? Sussy, what's your lowest number?
$5,000 from you.
He's hot. He's know what he's doing. He has a very dominant vibe. I will say, no doubt. But he has money though, so he's not gonna be cheapy about it. So I will say 20,000. A little bit more, maybe. Yeah.
Not like a nice car, but a car.
With that. I could rent a car and maybe get into an accident.
Yeah. What about you, Reshea? What about you?
Oh, I was gonna say I'd do it for free, but I'd ask for a lot of money just so maybe I could talk him down. We could negotiate to a price he's comfortable with. And I'd be happy. I'd be happy with anything. All right. So we do want to give you the floor. Tell us about any amazing things you've got coming up for you, like conventions or panels, events, things like that.
I'm going to be an influencer at a Polycon, which is in, I believe, April of 2024. I'll be, making content for them. I'll be going around making videos while I'm there. I'll probably be either speaking in panels or moderating them, getting to speak with some authors. I'm also going to be a part of the influencers attending Book Scouts and Crowns, which is in Seattle of next year as well in October. It's a convention, it's a ball, it's cosplaying, it's movie nights, it's trivia. It's going to be a great time. I'll be kind of doing the same thing, either speaking or moderating panels, running around like a maniac, probably screaming in my New York accent. As of right now, that's pretty much it. I do plan on next year being a bit of a crazier year. This year I'm getting married, so it's a lot of saving money and, thank you. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of saving money, trying to be like semi-frugal. Next year, all bets are off though. So I'm going to try and attend every event I find. I know we had mentioned there's a Star
2025
that's happening in New Jersey next year.
The 2024 tickets sold out.
All right. Well, then I'm going to try and attend that one. That's the thing with these events. Like these events are so much fun and they're a great time, but they sell out so fast. It's unreal. I'm very fortunate that I get to be an influencer at these because I actually tried to buy tickets for a Polycon and could not buy them.
Yeah,
I could not.
Crazy.
Me and 6 other friends tried to buy them and nobody got a ticket.
That's crazy.
We can do it, Reshea. We got the universe. The universe has our back. We can do it. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe in you. Listen, I went last year and I didn't buy a ticket. I had to get it through the resale thread.
You have tattoos, Chelsea?
Yes. Most of my tattoos are on my legs.
What you should do, you should read a book that changes you and then go get a tattoo immediately after and don't think about it.
I actually, so I haven't
I
done any, like,
beautiful.
tattoo
I
that I
love
may have
it.
done the
Okay.
same thing for.
Beautiful.
It's
You see, guys, that's why you need to watch the videos
Yeah,
because she's showing us her legs. I bet you never seen her legs on TikTok. You see exclusive content.
You want to see
So,
Chelsea? You want to see Chelsea's legs? Gotta pay up.
where can they find you? Your socials, everything.
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok at Chelsea Reads
Okay.
or
There
on
you go,
Instagram at
guys.
Chelsea
I
Reads with
gotcha.
2 underscores.
I mean, she's the best. She has the best recommendations, and she has not like the mainstream recommendations, just like indie authors recommendation, and those are always good. I
The
tell you,
diamonds in the rough.
almost always good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, they are.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Chelsea. We really, really
Yeah.
appreciate you giving us this time today,
You're
and
amazing.
believing in us because this podcast is not even out while we're recording this, and you're here with us. So, fucking yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so,
guys,
so
thank you
much.
so much for
Anything else
having
you
me.
want to
This was a
say to
blast.
your
I had a great time.
beautiful family / TikTok / Instagram
Friends.
followers?
Yeah.
Yeah, just continue to read indie authors, support indie authors, shop indie bookstores.
Because you can't get enough of us, be sure to follow us on all the social medias. Our handle is at Come With Us Pod, no matter where you look us up. You can follow us on Instagram. Sussy's handle is at I'm Sussy Nunez, and mine is at Reshea_reads. You can follow us on TikTok. You can find Sussy at I'm Sussy Nunez 1111 and myself at Charlotte Rivers 4. You know you want to. See you there.
Dinners, you've been good little angels. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us. And remember, stay wild, stay wicked, and keep reading. We love you. See ya.
Bye.